I want to go over a question that Michael emailed me this morning about tick reversal. Good question. If you're starting out, these are good questions, and I am willing to answer some of these questions like this. My code for my strategies are proprietary, but I enjoy sharing how-to questions like this. So if you have any, comment below or contact us and send us your questions, and I will make a video. And no guarantee that I get to all of the questions, but I've been looking over your website and found it very helpful for writing strategies on my own. However, I cannot figure out how to add different inputs to your strategies. Now, you can't add inputs to someone else's strategies if you lease them, but you can create your own strategies with inputs, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I want to test and use strategies only during market hours so I can trade on margin. A lot of people want to do that, so that's a good request. I can see your tick reversal in Q has an input that only trades 5 minutes after the market open and stops trading 15 minutes before the market close. I'll show you those inputs in a minute as well. I'm just wondering how you're able to code that. I'm going to show you how to code that, not in tick reversal, but in another setup. I have spent days trying to figure it out, and I need some help. If you could help me, it would be greatly appreciated. Coding can take years to learn. I know it's not easy. Some people pick it up quicker than others. I like Easylanguage because it's the easiest way to program a strategy. So if you are someone who wants to trade and participate in the markets, I recommend Easylanguage because that is the fastest way to get a strategy coded and get to trading instead of spending many hours coding in C or Python. And so Easylanguage is the one. One of the things you can do in TradeStation is it comes with strategies such as moving average crossover long entry, moving average crossover long exit, and it shows you inputs. You basically add an input by declaring it. Inputs colon, and I'm going to create another strategy up here to be more explicit and start from the beginning. But this is, you have to declare your inputs, you have to declare your variables. Variables do not show up in the list of inputs. And so what I'm talking about here is if I right click and I go format strategies and I double click on these are all the inputs that were declared in the code. These had to be listed by inputs colon and then contracts, don't trade if holidays, etc., all the way down. And you can see this starts trading at 9:35, which is 5 minutes before the stock market opens, and it stops trading 15 minutes before the stock market closes, and this is on 1 minute charts. And so this is one of our top strategies. Tick reversal in the portfolios, you can also lease it individually, and you can see it had a challenging June and it has rebounded to new equity peaks. It has on the micro, that's about 17 points average trade profit on the NASDAQ, so $345 on a regular NASDAQ contract and $34.50 on a micro. This does not include slippage, but that is 17 points to work with. Pretty low drawdown relative to the profits. And so we're going to go over now what he's talking about. You can also see the input under settings. And we're going to go under what Michael's talking about. 9:35, start time, finish time, short start time, short finish time, and then long exit time and short exit time. And I'm going to create a strategy with these inputs so you'll see them. And so I'm going to do that now in this brand new, I call it test inputs. And what you do is you just declare it. Inputs, long start time, 9:35. Long finish time, 15:45. This is based on Eastern Standard Time. Long exit time. We'll just work with the long side right now to be brief. We could add the short on your own, and you'll say if time is greater than, you can use greater than or equal to. So we use greater than or equal to the long start time, and time is less than, you can say less than or equal to, we use equal to long finish time, and then you can add your entry rules. And the close is greater than the close of, let's just say 50 bars ago. This is just a dummy strategy. We're not creating a real strategy here. I'm just showing you how you can add inputs, and we'll add additional inputs. And so then buy next bar at market. And so then if time is equal to long exit time, then sell next bar at market. And that is how you do that. Now I could make these vars, V-A-R-S, or variables, and these would not show up in the input. So I'm going to create a strategy now and show you how it works with a new chart. So let's create a new chart. Let's go File, New Workspace. I'm going to get rid of this. File, New, Trading App Window, Chart Analysis, and I'm going to go with MNQ, and I like to use the custom session. So we'll go with the custom session for day session, or you can use the .d. So I'm going to scroll down. I have a lot of custom sessions. You can download the ones I use in the TradeStation training area under the courses section of my site, FAQ 2 and 3, and it'll just show you that. Now you'll see this chart change. So it only shows the day session. And if you have a time constraint, you wouldn't actually need to use the custom session. But it depends on how much data you're looking at. And if you want it to only look at the data during the day session, you'd want to use that custom session setting. So it is not looking at data in the overnight session. Let's go back 5 months instead. And now you can see the red bars that indicate when the session starts and when it ends. We're not on the red bar, but on the red bar it's at 9:35 and it ends at 16:15. Futures used to close at 16:15, reopen at 16:30, and then trade till 1700. Now the cash closes at 1600, and I still use the old 16:15. But you could go all the way to 1700, I guess, at this point. Liquidity starts to dry up, though. So let's add the strategy that we created. We created this strategy in Easy Language called Test Inputs. So let's add that strategy. You can. By the way, I'm in TradeStation 9.1, and so I use both 9.1 and TradeStation 10. In TradeStation 10, you'd right-click and say Add Strategy. So in this, and TradeStation 9.1, you say Insert Strategy. And so Test Inputs. There it is. I have a lot of tests, strategies that I test. And so we're going to say OK. And there are the inputs. You see the inputs, 9:35, 15:45, and 15:55. And so say OK. And say close. And so then there you have it. It will trade during those time periods that you've restrained it to. And let's see if this strategy is any good. I don't anticipate that it will be, but it might. And so it's not really any good. This is just a dummy strategy to represent how we get these inputs. You'd have to use a different set of rules that were more profitable. Now I can make these disappear if I just declare them as variables or hard code them. I could say if time is greater than or equal to 9:35 and time is less than or equal to 15:45. So, and then not have any inputs or variables. Or you could call them variables and they wouldn't show up in the code. Vars or variables works here. And then you verify it. And then you come back in here and you say Format, Strategies. Where'd the inputs go? They're not there because they weren't declared as inputs. And so anytime you want to see an input, you have to declare it as an input instead of a variable or hard coding it. So if you don't see the input, it's either a variable or 9:35 is hard coded here, and 15:45 is hard coded there, and 15:55 is hard coded here. So other inputs you could add. Let's change this back to inputs. And I'm going to show you how to improve the code. Contracts 1. And so you could say, then buy contracts This could be anything. I just use this abbreviated version of contracts. And if you're typing in something that shows up as blue, it's already defined. So you couldn't say, you couldn't use time as one of your inputs because time is a function in TradeStation. So, so contracts. Then buy contracts is the input. This could be changed to 2. It could be changed to 3 or 4 or 5. And you could also add things like this. We want to add set stop contract. So the stop loss is based on a per contract basis instead of a position basis. And so you'd say set stop loss, stop loss. And so the input would be stop loss up here. Maybe you want to have a $400 stop loss, which is kind of small. Let's use a $700 stop loss. And then you could also add a signal name. You could say buy. The signal name would show up like this: test. We'll say long entry. And then the way you would see that is, let me show you here. By looking at the existing, you don't see a signal name. It just says buy. Buy. That buy is going to be changed to this signal name. So I'm going to verify this. We'll see if we get any errors. No errors. And then we go back to the chart, and you can see it's changed. Test long entry. Test long entry. And so there you have it. You can change your stop loss. You can change your inputs. You can see those new inputs now by going in here. Format, strategies in TradeStation 9.1. And TradeStation 10, you right click and say studies, edit strategies. So format, strategies, and now you see more inputs. The contracts, you can change that there. The stop loss, you can change that there. Let's see if this improves the strategy to add a stop loss. I don't suspect it would. Not much. So not a great strategy, but we are just developing this to show you how to add inputs to a strategy. And I hope this helps. Hope this answers your question. Be sure to submit your questions on this. Enjoy doing these videos and showing the how-tos of developing strategies in algorithmic trading, and especially Easylanguage. Hey, David Bean here. Welcome to Capstone Trading Systems YouTube page. Be sure to subscribe to join our community of algorithmic traders. We are real money traders. We share our winning streaks, we share our losing streaks, as well as market updates, strategies, and coding tips.